Awesome question. Okay, to start off with, you need the right gear. There's a couple of ways you can go about doing macro or close to macro. There's an attachment you can get for the front of any lens that you own called a raynox 250, I believe. It'll get you pretty close up to your subjects. Won't get you to true macro, but it will get you pretty close. There's another method where you can reverse the lens, which will also get you a lot closer. But if you have the money and you don't mind investing a bit, I highly recommend the Laowa lenses, Laowa by Venus Optics. That particular lens is the Laowa 50mm ultra macro, so it gets to 2x magnification, which is awesome because that allows you to get right in close to like the cells of a bug's eye and stuff like that, which you can't quite get all the time with a 1:1 macro lens. When doing super close-up or macro photography, you absolutely need a good flash, and along with the flash you need a good reflector and diffuser kit. Especially when you're getting up to the 2:1 ratios, you're super close to your subjects and not a lot of light gets through, so you're going to need all the extra light you can possibly get. When it comes to the Laowa lenses, they pretty much have one for any model of camera, which I think is awesome. They are not the sharpest macro lens you can get out there, but they are pretty damn good. Plus, they're the only lens I know of that can get you bigger than life size. So depending on what kind of camera you use, I use a micro 4/3 camera. It's smaller, it's lighter, I can pack a lot more stuff in my bag when I go out exploring. And the quality's really good as well. That's a very controversial topic. A lot of people are like, you have to go full frame cameras for macro. You don't. I do quite well with my little micro 4/3 camera, and it suits my needs perfectly. You can use a tripod. I hand hold most of my photos. When the bugs are moving around and stuff like that, by the time you've set up a tripod, they're gone. So I hand hold. And as for gear, that's pretty much it. As for subjects, the world is your oyster. There's not really much anything that you can't take super close-ups of and end up with some really cool shots. I mostly do bugs, pollen, mushrooms and fungi, eggs, like insect eggs and stuff like that can be really cool. A lot of people do everyday household objects, and that can allow them to be creative with lighting and color and stuff like that. I'm not really into that. I'm more of a outdoorsy kind of person, so that's what I focus on. When it comes to focusing, you use your body a fair bit. You use your body. So I will initially use the ring to get my subject nice and large in the frame, and then I simply rock backwards and forwards super slowly, remembering to breathe because I always forget to breathe, until I've always look through the viewfinder. You can use your little LCD screen, but I find you get much better shots looking through the viewfinder. So forwards and backwards, nice and slow, until you've got it perfectly in focus and perfectly sharp. Press the release button and you're good to go. The next tip would be composition. Always try to get different angles to get an interesting view. Depth of field can be an issue with macro because you are so super close and you've got like this tiny little sliver of area that's actually in focused. So it's handy to remember that focus is in flat planes. So if you change your angle slightly, you can get a different section of the bug in focus. So I find that really helpful, especially if like you want to focus on their eyes. Eyes are the goal when it comes to bugs. So you may have to slightly change your angle or where you're coming at the shot from. So there's a lot of playing around with macro. Practice, practice, practice is the biggest thing you can do, and it's also the fastest way that you will improve your macro photography or any photography or any skill for that matter. So I'm either in my backyard or down the swamp almost every day taking photos. Some days are frustrating and you don't get a lot. Today was a frustrating day. But that's part of the territory. The more you practice, the better you'll get at it. The better you get at it, the more you enjoy it. And you'll know when you've got a good shot because you'll be like, yes, that's perfectly in focus. The eyes are crisp, the colors are beautiful, and you get really excited for it. I call them the money shots. You always want the money shots. When it comes to finding subjects to photograph, I don't really have a lot of problems with that. You just need a little bit of patience. Visit the same place more than once. So I'm always in my backyard and I very rarely don't find something new to photograph. I may not always get the shot, but you know, practice and patience is key. And on the subject of getting the shot, sometimes any shot is better than no shot. So what I will do a lot of the time is, especially if it's a bug that I think is going to fly off or scurry off or hide under a leaf or something like that, is I'll start further away and I'll get a shot. So I'll get a shot and then I'll get closer, get another shot, get closer, get another shot, get closer, get another shot, until I'm right up to the shot where that is the money shot, which is the super close-ups where you're right into their eyes and stuff like that. So sometimes it's better to get a shot instead of the shot. Plus a lot of the times you get a really great shot. It's not that you're super close-up, but it's a great shot with great composition and great background, which when you're doing super close-ups, there's not a lot in the background sometimes, which can be difficult for getting the shot, but it is what it is. But yeah, that's a basic rundown of my tips for someone who wants to get started in macro. I will probably end up doing a series of these videos, much shorter, obviously, with very specific subjects. Hope this helps.